Donna with the North Greenbush Library, and I am here today for another take-home craft tutorial. For this month, we are going to be making desktop calendars, and in your craft kit, you'll find a wooden shadow box. This is going to be the base of our calendar. You should have 3 small C hooks. You're also going to have a whole bunch of these tags, which we're going to use for the months and dates. You'll have 15 of them in your craft kit. We're only going to use 13, so if you do make a mistake somewhere along the way, don't panic. You'll have a couple extras in there if you need them. You'll also find watercolors. You'll have a piece of paper that you can use as a decoration for the back of your calendar to jazz it up a little bit. That's optional. You don't need to use it, but you can if you want to make it a little bit fancier. From around your house, you'll want to have a ruler handy, a pair of scissors, a pencil, and some glue, or I'm going to use Mod Podge because I think it will stick a little bit better to the back of the wood. That's all you're going to need for our calendar take-home crafts. Give me a minute and I will be right back with our step 1. Now, the first step to making our calendar is going to be to take a little bit of time to consider how you want your calendar to look. This first step is going to be completely optional, depending on how you want your calendar to look. We've given you a piece of paper that you can use to put into the back of your shadow box to make your calendar a little bit more decorative. Now, if you want, you can leave it just as a plain wooden background, or you can also use your own paint to decorate it in any way that you want. I've chosen a little piece of paper that is kind of multicolored. It almost looks like mountains in the background for mine. If you are going to use the supplied paper to decorate the back of your calendar, you'll want to cut it down to size. Now, for the size, the height is about 3 1/4 inches and the width is about 5 1/4. So you'll just want to cut your rectangle down to size, and then we're just going to glue it into the back of our box. I'm using Mod Podge for mine, but you can use any kind of craft glue or hot glue. We'll glue it into place and then we'll let it dry. All right, so if you decided to decorate the background of your calendar and your paint or your glue is now dry, we can move on to our next step. The next step is going to be to insert our C-hooks so that we can actually hang our days and months in the front and know what day of the month it is. The key with this step is to make sure that you measure before you start screwing these little hooks into place. Otherwise, your tags will be overlapping or bumping into each other, and that's not what we want to have happen. I've done the math out for you so that you'll get a perfect placement and your tags will be nice and centered. The first hook, and we're going to screw these right into the top, hanging down like this. Your first hook will go right in the middle. That's going to be 2 5/8 inches in from this edge. So measure from this very edge of the inside of your box, 2 5/8 inches over should put you right in the middle. I've made a little notch with my pencil, and I'm going to screw this hook in right on the inside, right at that notch. Now, you'll want to make sure that you're putting it in the middle so that we're not too close or too far to the back. For our other hooks, we're going to measure 1 inch in from each side. And again, I marked on my box 1 inch in, and I will put my hook, again, inside right at this mark. Now these hooks are pretty close size-wise for our edges, so just make sure if you get close to the top or you think your screw is going to poke through, just stop screwing. They only need to hang little paper tags. It's not going to be the end of the world if they're not screwed in all the way. So I'm going to screw in my hooks, and then I'll be back with our next step. So I've got my marks made on the outside of my shadow box. I'm going to show you that I'm just going to use the screw that's built in on our C-hook. Just give a little tiny push, and then we can just twist our hooks into place. Once your hooks are in place, your calendar will look like this. Now, if you want to test it out before you go to the next step to make sure you got everything placed in the right spot, you can just take your undecorated tags and hang them on your hooks. And you'll see how your calendar will look once it's all set. So the next step in making our calendar is going to involve our tags. Now you have some choices to make at this point. You can choose to leave your date and month tags completely white, or you can choose to decorate them to give your calendar a little bit more color. Now, if you do decide to decorate them, the next decision that you want to make is, are all your tags going to be the same, or do you want to decorate them each in their own way? Now, we're going to be painting the fronts and backs of our tags. 6 tags will be used for our months. 2 tags will be used for the first digit of our date, and 5 tags will be used for the second digit. I'm going to paint all of mine the same, but you can do yours however you choose to. I am going to try to do an ombre effect on the bottom of my tags, and I'm going to do it in a blue color. Now, if you want to follow the same type of design that I'm doing, that is fine, or feel free to make it completely your own. So I am going to decorate all of my tags. I'm going to paint them all on the fronts, and then I'm going to let them dry. We'll flip them over and paint the backs. Now, if they do start to curl up for you a little bit while you're painting, don't worry, because once we flip them and do the backs, they should flatten out for you. Now, if you want to try for the ombre effect, we're just going to take one stripe with our watercolor, rinse out your paintbrush, and come back and do a stripe right above it with just the water. And that will help your paint to bleed off and give us a little bit of a faded look. Then if you dry off your paintbrush and come up again, you'll get a little bit more of that fade. And that's all I'm going to do to decorate mine. I'm going to go ahead and paint all 13 of my tags, let them dry, and then I'll flip them over and do the same thing on the back. Now, once your tags are done drying, the last step that we need to do is to actually label our tags. Now, think about how you want your writing to look, what color you want your writing to be, really to make your calendar come together. I'm just going to use a blue marker for mine. On our first 6 tags, these will be our months. And remember, we're doing front and back. So our first tag will write Jan, Jan for January. And on the back, we'll write Feb for February. Or if you can fit the whole month in there, whatever you want to do, however you want your calendar to look for your months. January and February on your first tag, March and April on your second, and so on until you get all 12 months. For your second tags, your second hook, it's going to be the first digit of the date. So again, you're going to start out front and back. You're going to do 0 and 1. And on the second one, you're going to do 2 and 3. And then on your last set of tags, again, you're going to do front and back, 0 and 1, 2 and 3, all the way up until you get to 8 and 9. I'm going to put my dates on here, and then I will be back to show you our finished calendar. So once you've got all of your tags labeled with the months and the dates, you can just go ahead and add them onto your hooks and your calendar will be ready to use. Now you can either place it on your desk, there is a twine hanger so you can hang it here, or you do also have a hook on the back so you can put this anywhere you choose, on your desk, on your dresser, or hang it by the door so you'll always know what the date is on your way out. We'd love to see how you customized your calendar. If you enjoyed this craft, be sure to let us know how it turned out. Thanks guys, we'll see you next month.